Okay, so here we are. All right, so here we are on a beautiful sunrise. Sun just come up over the mountains here in beautiful Sedona. We're out close to Munns, and we're just going to talk about a few of the things that are important to some of our retreats. So, so Nick, what do you think about what are some of the health benefits that we try to promote and try to utilize in our retreats?
Well, right off the bat,
And let's talk about physical first.
sure.
Physical
Yep.
benefits,
Yep.
right?
Some of the obvious benefits of being outdoors and moving in a three-dimensional space in a natural setting is the variability of what the world brings to our bodies. It allows us to be dynamic and to move in ways that are unique and multifaceted that we oftentimes don't get living in an office culture or in a sedentary lifestyle where we're not outside moving around as dynamically as we could be and using our bodies to the fullest capacity. And through VIP, something that we really try to promote is that first letter of V, which is vitality. And with your vitality, we want to get your body moving. And we want to get your body moving in many different ways and promote excellent blood flow through that dynamic multipolar movement-based systems. We look to strive to strengthen the body by testing it, by challenging it, by adding reasonable amounts of stress to it to promote physical growth, muscular growth, hypertrophy. But these are things that take time and need to come and really create a path forward to help progress ourselves. And using the outdoors as one of many modalities to help increase someone's physical prowess and capabilities. It's at the core for everything that we do. Your physical health,
So it's also quite sustainable, huh?
of
Being
course.
outside, once you get used to the outdoor environment, you start hiking and or whatever it is, maybe kayaking or picture taking, photography, whatever it is in the outdoors. You have the natural element because that's what we come from, but also you get so many benefits that you don't get in the gym.
Hmm.
In the
Absolutely.
gym, you're training linearly.
Yep.
Most programs are designed around a linear function, and even functional training itself has a big compound or limitations to the movement of the body the way it's designed to move. But for just a minute, maybe talk about stability, which is the big thing when people begin to age and they start to fall. So the evidence shows us that it comes has to do with all of the stabilizer muscles, synergistic and stabilizer muscles in the body that go away because we live in this sterile environment.
Yeah,
How does it improve outside?
that's exactly right. So, in the average person's day-to-day life cycle, we go through a series of motions that we're kind of programmed to based on what our daily needs are. If you live in a big city, you're going to be walking on concrete regularly. You're going to be inside buildings with level floors, lots of flat surfaces, lots of uh, uh, mono experiences in terms of what your body has to navigate. And while that may feel comfortable in the short term, there is some downsides to that. Your body is not dynamically being stressed in different ways that promote stability, as you're suggesting. Now, stability is at the core of maintaining balance in the body. If you're not able to stabilize your joints, you're going to have a weak, kind of dilapidated structure. And as we age, those little stabilizing muscles get weak over time if we're not stressing them. When we get outdoors, you're in an environment. I mean, look at the land around us right now. There's almost nothing flat and even. Everything has variability to it. Everything is dynamic. And when you put yourself in those environments, when you move through those three-dimensional spaces that are uneven, not level, not consistent, your body is being challenged. It is being forced to adjust and adapt to those different surfaces, and that helps to promote better stability through the joints. Of course, there's a right way and there's a wrong way to do almost anything, but there's also a spectrum in between that right and wrong way. And what we care to do is help show people the different ways, the different opportunities that being outside helps to do helps to promote for your own body. It's a matter of really figuring out where your base is and then challenging it from that point. You might be someone who was a long distance runner for your whole life, but you kind of have to put that to the backside. You don't care like running anymore, and with that, as you've kind of transitioned out of being a long distance runner, your body may not be as well adapted for multiplanar movements, and over time those joints, they can suffer from that. So it's a matter of really kind of figuring out where your baseline is, and us helping to identify that, and then promoting from that point, getting you to challenge yourself in new ways to promote more muscular hypertrophy around some of those joints.
So the awesome stuff. That is really awesome stuff. So as an example to that, now both of us have spent many years. I've spent my entire life in a gym training for outdoor activities. One thing that I really noticed was that, and you see people come to the gym day in, day out, and they hop on a treadmill and they do their 2 miles, 3 miles, whatever it is, and they do that year after year after year. And if you're watching, you begin to see a slow downward cycle.
Yeah.
Because they're not training stabilization.
Yep.
So, and that's a really important thing. Now, so Nick, give me just one thing. Now, when we do our programs, when we do our retreats and our adventure tours and things like that, when you contact us, we start you in a preparatory program to get you ready to get full advantage of the opportunities that we're going to present to you. Just give us one idea of what we might suggest to somebody to utilize in a training in where they are, that would prepare them for moving in this incredible environment that we like to take people to.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of things we can do in a controlled environment, like a home setting, a gym setting, to help prepare our bodies for getting outdoors in these in these highly variable situations. So some really easy do it at home exercises that you can do are unilateral exercises, meaning using one side of your body at a time instead of balancing on both sides, forcing your body to stabilize on one leg, one arm at a time. An example would be, very simply, standing up in an erect position, like so, and raising one knee and balancing. Quite simply just finding your balance in this point, right? Figuring out how your feet, how your toes all grip the floor.
You're pretty stable.
Try not to fall, right? Keeping yourself balanced, using the core, finding your spinal posture and erecting that as best you can. Something as simple as that can promote growth for the stabilizing muscles around the ankles, the knees, the hips, allowing your abdominal muscles to do their job to support the spine. And now that's about as basic as it comes. You would do that on either side for a series of repetitions for a set amount of time, or really just kind of challenging yourself and seeing how long you can push it. Now, that's something that can then be extrapolated and expanded upon. You can go from that standing balanced position and start to add dynamic movements. You can do hip flexion, you could do hip extensions, you could raise the other leg, you could add weights to the arms. There's all different things you can do to really expand upon that. It's just about starting
and so
simple.
what I'm hearing you say is that you don't have to set a very specific time to go and train to do some of these things. And and that's part of our specialties, right? Is to integrate your training and the beneficial functions of stability into your everyday life.
Yeah.
So in my seminars, in my aging seminars, I teach people to put on sock while standing on one foot.
That's a great example.
Instead of leaning against the wall or sitting down or anything. So something that you do every single day can benefit you and your stability.
Exactly.
And it's just, you don't have to take a special time to do that.
And that's a great point, Gino. It's a matter of kind of seeing the opportunities presented to you in your own world. You may not realize it, but there are a plethora of situations in your day-to-day life that you could challenge yourself to help promote that positive growth and change in your own physical structure. The whole example of putting on a sock one-legged, not using props to assist yourself, and really challenging your own balance and your hip flexion and your core control. That's something that everyone experiences. We all know what that's like in our day-to-day lifestyle. But there's other things that might be even more unique to your own life that can create some unique opportunities for you to help challenge yourself and promote that positive physical growth. And that's something that we're here to help work with you on. Part of our job, our task, is to help identify in your unique life and lifestyle what some of those hidden opportunities are to help you just kind of continue to bolster and enhance your path towards a better, more healthy lifestyle. And of course, all those things eventually can be shifted to the outdoors, but it starts with what you know, with what you have at the helm ready to go.
And that's part of the retreat and the tour program is in the very beginning of it is kind of identify
Absolutely
where we are and what our limitations are, what our potential is, and then creating our programs around that. And that starts in our pre-onboarding program. Once we get you on and get you going, then we start working on that and looking at what opportunities we can make best happen for us.
Exactly. As I stated before, it's a matter of finding where you are at and using that as the starting point, the platform to grow from. Everyone is somewhere in their life, and it's our job to help you identify where you're at. And once we identify where that position is, we're looking to forward progress. We're moving up and out from that point. We want to expand and really show you how much there is for you to work on, how much there is for you to continue your own personal growth. And we're talking now in the physical realm, but of course, everything that we're talking about is also very much just as applicable to the mental and the spiritual realms as well, which of course we'll talk about in greater detail in future videos. But bringing it back to the physical realm, and stability in particular, one great little tidbit that I want to share with you all is this idea of balance and the fundamental importance of balance. Your physical balance is the foundation for your ability, capacity to do anything in life, physically speaking. If you have good balance, you're centered and you're able to take on a lot more. If you're out of balance, sure, you can do some things, but it's going to require that much more focus and compensation to achieve those physical tasks. So what we really want to promote is finding that balance, that physical balance within you. And it starts with the stabilizers, starts with those little fine-tuning muscles that control those dynamic joints like the ankles, the knees, the hips, the spine, the shoulders, etc., that we want to really target and help reinforce and rebuild and restructure in your physical body to help promote that broader balance that we all are seeking. And of course, once again, that is something that also transcends into the other mediums, the mental and spiritual mediums as well. But for today, we'll keep it with the physical realm. What are your thoughts on that? What's your take on balance? I mean, obviously stability is a underpinning of that.
So two things that come to my mind very quickly is number one, that all of the big muscles are fine and everything, and we all concentrate on those when we're exercising. However, their limitation is the stabilizers and synergistic muscles, all of the helpers.
Yeah. Well,
when you lose that ability to start and stop those muscles and hold them in place and to assist, then your functionality is decreased.
Yep.
So that's number one. But here's the really big thing that I've always noticed in 50 years of training. I think that your experience as a human being comes down to your physical and mental health. Mind, body, spirit, but your physical health allows you to go places and experience things.
Yep.
And the better that is, and I'm not talking about a bodybuilder or anything like that or a marathoner. I'm talking about just good general fitness will allow you to go out and experience the world to its fullest and find awe in your life. And that's what living is about.
Absolutely.
Living is about experience.
Yep.
You know, and sharing those experiences, making memories that last a lifetime, you know, and sharing with your family, with your friends, with new acquaintance and new friends, and things like that. So those are two really big things that we really like to focus on in our programs, in our own life,
Yep.
and everything like that. And that's why we're so dedicated to the wellness factions and factors in our retreats and our programs, because it just enhances the life experience.
Yeah, and to Gino's point about experiences and having, you don't have to be a bodybuilder, you don't have to be a professional athlete, you don't have to be a top tier, endurance athlete. That while all those things are great in their own respects, they're kind of niche. They're very specific. When life throws opportunity at us and challenges at us both, the best way to be prepared for that is to have, as I was talking about before, balance. The more centered you are, the more prepared you are to redirect your efforts and restructure your mindset and your physical being to a new task, a new activity, a new experience. The more centered you are, the easier it is to take on something new. If you're pulled too far in one direction or another, I would consider that being off balance. Guess what? You're going to have to recenter yourself before you start reaching out into a new field, into a new direction. So the more centered, the more balanced we can keep ourselves physically and mentally and spiritually, emotionally, the more prepared we are for all the different opportunities life can throw at us, good and bad. And so, it starts with the fundamentals. It starts with the most basic fundamentals, the core, the joints, making sure anatomically that your body is moving as close to posturally correct as possible. And that's what we're here to help to promote, is good posture, good balance, just general good well-being, and figuring out what that means for each of us independently, because we all have different meanings. Different definitions of what it means to be in good health and to be in good balance and to be prepared for whatever life takes us on. And it's a matter of kind of figuring out how we interpret those things and matching and finding a language that connects with one another and helping to promote a better version of wherever we're at and whatever it is that we expect. Always increase your expectations. Always expect more of yourself and those around you and for what life can bring to you. If you settle for par, guess what? You're going to get par. We want to go beyond that. We want to go far, far beyond that. There is too much in this world. There's too much life has to offer us for us to sit back idly and watch it pass us by. And to be able to take on those different opportunities, you got to be prepared. And how do we prepare? Well, you got to put in effort physically. It starts with the body, as Gino was saying. So yeah, fundamentals, balance, strength, and stability is at the root of everything we want to do. 100%.
Yeah, and having a background, a science background in mind, body, and spirit for the two of us, you realize as you study, learn, and part of what I used to teach was that the quads and the muscles around them, they only stay in a state of balance or in a state of balance for about 24 to 48 hours. So if you're not stressing them and creating some stress so that they're grow and recover, break down and recover, they're declining, they're diminishing, and they're starting to atrophy and break down that tissue, because the body responds to what it requires. You have to require things of it for it to improve. You got to push it a little.
Exactly. Got to stimulate
not
that
a lot.
growth.
You got to push it a little bit, and then let it recover, and then push it a little bit. And so, for most people, as they age, they quit pushing,
Yeah.
and they begin to find dysfunction in body parts. Now, the experiences that we were just talking about, I don't know if you can see it, but behind us here is one of the best trails in this whole area back here. Both of us, it's one of our favorite trails
It's spectacular.
here. It is Hangover. If you can see it back there, I know you can see part of it, but it ascends up and around, and the elephant guy up here and around and down. So many times people will want us to take them up there. And when you meet somebody with our background, you can tell, are they capable? Do they have the stabilization? Do they have the balance and
The fine motor control.
Yeah, fine motor control.
Yeah.
That's a perfect determination or perfect description. Fine motor control, and all of those are trainable characteristics of
Absolutely.
the physical body.
Yep.
And so, by becoming aware of those, you improve.
Yep.
And that's our goal.
It starts with an awareness. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not aware of the gaps, of the deficiencies, of the weaknesses, how are you going to improve? I mean, you're just kind of pissing in the wind, for lack of a better phrase here. It's something that's where we come in. That's where our expertise comes in to help identify where those voids are, where those gaps are in your physical well-being. And to Gino's point, this trail behind us, the Hangover Trail, it gets its name because, well, it has some pretty spectacular hangovers, some really remarkable and dynamic features on this trail where you're scrambling and moving and all these uneven surfaces. There's absolutely nothing consistent about this route other than the fact that it's inconsistent.
It is everything.
Terrain. Yeah, it's got everything.
That's what makes it so great.
And that's that's why we love it. It's so exciting. It's so dynamic. Now, for a newcomer, for a first-time hiker or someone who's hasn't done it in a while, that can be extremely challenging, even if you are someone who is in relatively good physical condition. Let me explain what I mean by that. This is going back to what we first started talking about with stability. If you live in a big city and you exercise regularly, let's say you go to the gym 3 days out of the week and you take a run in the neighborhood one day out of the weekend. All great. You're doing great. You're doing better than many in that regard. However, here's the thing. Unless you are proactively stressing your body in unilateral ways, challenging that core balance and stability as we were talking about before, unless you're doing those things, if you're just running on the treadmill, if you're just running on pavement concrete around the park, and you're doing some basic exercises that are always bilateral and always on rails, and again, don't get me wrong, that exercise is 100 times better than no exercise. But all of those forms of exercise are in a very sterile, controlled environment. This is anything but that. So when you transition from that concrete jungle to that jungle, the body may find that there are some deficiencies and it's going to have a hard time adjusting to that. And that's why it's so important that if you're not getting out and doing this regularly, that you have to find ways in your life, in your environment, to recreate or to artificially create those stressors, those challenges, to help strengthen the stabilizers, to help strengthen the muscles and the fibers that help keep you balanced and centered. The more balanced you are, the easier it is to take on some of the dynamic features of a trail like this, where you're at a pitch that's at a 30 to 40 degrees one way, and then the trail switches to the other side, and then it's all rocking, and you're scrambling, climbing things. It's fun. It's exciting. Gets the heart rate up, gets your brain. It's like a little mental challenge for the brain. You're figuring out a physical puzzle while you're challenging yourself physically. I mean, it's really stimulating. It's really exciting, but it can be a challenge for those who are uninitiated otherwise. And that's why we want to try to promote people, bringing an awareness to this and help getting you guys ready for some of these big grand adventures, because guys, this is a big, beautiful world. And here in northern Arizona, southern Utah, there is damn near endless opportunities for adventure and experience here. And we want to bring that world to you. We want to bring you to that world, but we want to help kind of fill those gaps before we get you out here. And that's what we're going to help promote in these web series. We're going to continue to talk and explain how we're going to help you guys to access some of the greatest, most beautiful outdoor spaces on planet Earth, bar none.
So, something that you mentioned when you're talking about the Hangover Trail, one big concept of the Hangover, and it has nothing to do with alcohol, it's that there are plenty of places where you're walking on a ridge, and it's a 300, 500, 600 foot drop.
Major exposure. Yep.
So by by training, and let's just call it like it is. Those of you who are out there running the country in finance and in marketing and engineering and all of those kinds of things, you can't get outside every day and do this.
Yeah.
So we create recommendations for you so you can incorporate that into everyday life.
Exactly.
But the thing that fitness, that preparation grants you is confidence.
Yep.
Right?
That's a great
Confidence
point. Yep.
in the way your body can move.
That's exactly right.
And so you see that all the time,
Of course,
with your guests, right?
Yep.
You know, and we kind of interview people when we meet them. So what do you do? What kind of exercises do you do? Do you work out regularly? Have you hiked?
Where have you
Tell me
been?
where
What have
you've
you done?
been? What you
Yep.
hiked?
Exactly.
Kind of outdoor activities have you done? And that gives us a little picture of who they are and their capabilities. Because, you know, of course, as guides, and the most important thing is safety.
Oh, absolutely.
And so,
Yep.
very frequently, I will be maybe halfway through a tour or something, and I turn somebody around, and they're like, "Oh, I really thought I could go further. I want to go a little further," you know, and everything. But by the time we get to the end, they're totally spent.
Body shutting down. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and as a professional, we're able to read
Yeah.
those capabilities and help. So the level of preparation and fitness and stability, and kind of our topic here, is what gets you further.
Yep.
Increases that ability to experience more. And really, for us, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know,
And to Gino's point, you know, when you're coming from a world where this is very foreign to you, or just maybe not foreign, but just difficult to access on a regular basis, it's important for professionals like Gino and I to identify two things: history and lifestyle. And that's kind of what he was just talking to a second ago when we speak with our clients and kind of gather some of this background information about their life. Where have they been? What have they done? What do they do on a day-to-day basis? That's their lifestyle. And then the history being, where have I been? What have I accomplished in that time? And we're not looking for, you know, every accomplishment you've ever achieved in your life, not necessarily, but relevant accomplishments, right? Things, experience that you've had before that can give us a sense of how well prepared you're going to be for what we're looking to do with you. And so if that's not something that you feel comfortable with, that's not something you feel you have much experience with, well, guess what? Don't wait. There's no better time than now to start building that experience. And whether that's with us or just finding something in your own neck of the woods to help, you know, get yourself outdoors and start getting that foot in the doorway, begin. Don't wait, guys. And we're here to help promote that for you. We're here to help guide you on that. But even if it's not with us, just get outside and start moving. Do something. Something is almost always better than nothing. Of course, there's always exceptions to every rule, but in most cases, that's a pretty hard truth. And you know, it's stepping stones, guys. You know, you can't try to take on the world all at once. You got to find a path, but that's not something that you're comfortable with or something that you feel confident in doing. That's where professionals like Gino and I come in. We help to find that vision, help to build that path for you forward, to find the steps to help get you to that pedestal that you're aiming to stand on. You know, it's a privilege for both Gino and I to be in a position and an industry where we get to take people out to incredible places to see mind-bogglingly beautiful natural features, wildlife, and weather events. And in the meantime, we get to connect with those people and learn a little bit about them and learn for ourselves. Like, we're always growing. We're always taking from some of the people that we interact with, but at the same time, giving right back and showing them a little bit more of what they can do in this world and kind of giving them some excitement and, like you were saying before, confidence in what you can access in your lifetime. You know, at the end of the day, the only thing holding you back is yourself. Your own mind is your biggest roadblock. We as humans are incredibly capable species of animals. We can almost do anything. We can go to space. We can go deep into the oceans. We can dig. We can climb. We can fly. You're part of that species, and you can access almost anything you want if you apply yourself, your mind, and your body towards it. And it starts with the body.
Well said. Well said. I like it. So and with that, and we're going to close this out now. I think that exactly what you're talking about. Those people, those adventurers, those leaders in adventure, they were afraid when
Absolutely.
they set out
Absolutely.
on their quest. Fear is what holds most people back.
Yep.
But I think what's so important for people to understand is that fear is the body preparing itself
Yep.
at its highest level to perform.
Yep.
If you understand that and begin to use that and take control of that, it is a marvelous thing.
It's a tool in the toolbox, guys.
It is a tool in the toolbox.
Yep. And that's
So-
what we're here to do, is help build that toolbox for you.
So, vitality, inspiration, and purpose, that's us. Purpose, we're headed in that direction. Purpose right now is to get you fit, get you in shape, get you out here doing some of the greatest experiences that this side of the world has to offer, and the whole world. So, you guys tune in for the next one.
And just
Thank
a
you for
reminder,
listening.
my name's Nick. This is Gino, and we are VIP. Take care, guys. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
It's great. That was fun. That was fun.